Let's go, Cooper!
This is the final straw.
Murder anyone?
Kung Fu's on.
All right, James, man, I am so glad that you're back on, and it's been a minute, and this time we're going to talk about your new film, Murder Anyone, which I saw a few days ago. I absolutely loved it. I couldn't stop laughing. I just enjoyed every minute of it.
Thank you so much. I'm glad you enjoyed it. It was definitely a labor of love. So I'm glad you enjoyed it. It's a really fun, silly movie.
Yeah, and the best thing about it was written by your dad. And
Yeah.
it started as a play, and then then he wrote the screenplay for this, and I felt like it must have been a personal project for you to honor him with this.
Yeah, it definitely was. It's the film came. I wanted to make it, and I actually self-financed it, and I wanted to make it because my dad, one of the last creative endeavors my dad did was he wrote this play and he put it on. He produced it, and I remember when he was doing that. Before he did all that, I was like, Dad, why are you wasting your money and time putting on plays? And so he wrote a play about that argument. And that's what this became. And so I thought, what a fitting way to have a tribute to and immortalize the work that he did, is turn this into a movie. And I'm not sure if you got a chance, but there is a mid-credit scene that
yeah, I do remember that. And that's when I actually looked him up, and then I was like, I couldn't believe all the stuff he worked on. And I was just like, I grew up with half of the stuff that he wrote, like the episode. Like, I grew up
for
with that.
sure.
And I told my kids, I'm like, he wrote an episode of Word Girl of all things, and they're like PBS Kids fans. They're like, what? They're like, their mouths dropped to the ground. I'm like, that's just amazing. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, you guys see this movie though. It's really good. It's really funny. So much goes on, but it's so worth it.
Yeah, thank you, man. It's definitely very much his sense of humor too, and his sensibilities, which I love.
Yeah, and the cast here was amazing. I think this is one of the best casts I've seen so far this year when it comes to a movie. Kristos Andrews was great. Galadriel Stineman was awesome, and you brought, Spencer Breslin in a chicken suit. That was like one of the best things I've ever seen, because I haven't seen him in anything in a while. So I feel like this is a comeback for him. But what better way to come back than wearing a chicken suit?
Yeah, amazing. He loved that chicken suit. He loved. It's pretty silly that he's in a chicken suit the whole time, but his character is really great.
What was it like with those three on the actual play scenes? Because just like
they were all very awesome to work with. It was a very light, funny, fun vibe on set, everybody was just such a pleasure. Everybody was there to make something special and something fun, and to help me with my task of honoring my father, and everybody was there and down for the cause. So it was just one of the most fun experiences I've had making a movie.
That's awesome. And I'm putting this on record right now, but if the MCU decides to bring in a Mary Jane Watson, Galadriel's perfect, because she looked exactly like I envisioned Mary Jane Watson. Just the way the hair was, just the way she looked in the film, it was like it was a spitting image of Mary Jane Watson. So I hope Marvel is listening to this to realize and just say, we got our Mary Jane, because she looked exactly like I envisioned her.
She would crush that role. She would be great in that.
I totally agree. And then you had the play scenes, and we got Maurice LaMarche and Charles Howell. Maurice, man, I can't say enough about him. I love his voice work. Just the other day we were talking about Zootopia, and he was Mr. Big, and just everything he's done. He's like a legend in voice acting.
He's the voice of everybody's childhood. He's done like every single voice of everything, and he actually happened to have known my dad longer than I did. He was my dad's best friend, and my dad's other best friend was Charlie Howell, who was my dad's writing partner. And so it was very fitting to put two people that knew my dad better than me in this movie.
Yeah, I totally agree. And what better casting than that? And some of the scenes were out of this world. I mean, I love it where they switch to British dialogue, and then they switch, and then the kung fu fighting scene, the kung fu zombie scene. I was like,
Yeah, that was
I was
fun.
in tears. I literally was dying because I gotta ask this. The first movie that popped in my head was Epic Movie, when Fred Willard was, you can see he was doubled by Arnold Chong in the fight scene against Silas, and I thought, did he get this? Did this come from this? Was this influenced by that movie? Because it's so.
No, it wasn't influenced by that, but that movie is a funny movie for sure.
Yeah, I could see it. It was like all of a sudden, Richard has an afro, and Blaine is like he looks completely different as well. It's just that fight scene was just hysterical. That must have been fun to shoot, though.
It was definitely fun, and it's actually a relatively good fight scene at the same time too. Like,
Surprisingly, it was. I'm like,
yeah,
who worked on that choreography? Was there someone like big, or was it just like?
yeah. My friend Tyler, who I've done a few movies with, he was the choreographer.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, but
Yeah,
I mean, even the dynamic of the whole film. I mean, I love how it felt like I was watching a play. Like like if I visited on the stage, I see the two playwrights on the side, and then we get the main stage where we get the core three actors, and then we got Sally Kirkland in a cameo as as the dead next door neighbor. And there's a ghost, and I thought that part was pretty funny.
brains.
What was that like with her?
It was good. Sally's a sweetheart. She's such a sweet person, and it was wonderful working with her.
That's awesome. So how long did you take to shoot the film, and what were the difficulties?
It was a quick shoot. I mean, the movie was lent itself to being pretty quick because of it being a play. It's very long chunks, the scenes.
Yeah. Was there any difficulties on the set like that you faced? Any production problems?
No. This was a fun, light, enjoyable shoot that I think everybody had a good time doing. I think the hardest thing for me was actually just shooting that post-credit scene.
Yeah, I would say, considering what happens in that big credit scene, this is like,
Yeah,
I was surprised like that even happened, but I love the way that the whole thing turned out, just
thank you.
overall. And I was like, that scene right there, I was not expecting. I'm not spoiling it for everyone, but they're going to be pleasantly surprised about how it comes out. But it's so fun to see it. And then you even had a cameo from one of my all-time favorite final girls of horror, Lisa Wilcox, as the real Bridget. And
Yeah,
I swear, she could just pop up in one scene just like she did in this and make it work. I mean, she's just that great of an actress.
yeah, she was fantastic, great to work with, and she actually got recognized a few times in the festival circuit. She won some awards, so for her cameo, and that was really very special. I think it was great to work with her. She's such a sweet human being.
Oh man, you've just been popping up everywhere. You've just done so many. You've written, you've produced. During the pandemic, I mean, I kept seeing your name pop up everywhere, and I think you became like one of the busiest working people in the indie circuit, hands down. I mean, you just.
I'm just trying, man. I'm just trying to keep stuff going. That's trying to keep movies alive and trying to have fun making them and help other people get them made too.
Yeah, I mean, I remember I spoke with Jackie Moore and Jared Cohen about Dawn, and you were involved in that production. And
Yeah,
I was like, I kept seeing his name pop up, and they're like, oh yeah, he doesn't want to stop. He did not want to stop. He doesn't want to stop working. He just wants to keep going with it. I'm like, he saved the film industry. That's what I said. I'm like, he saved that industry. He saved the film industry. Even though everything was getting shut down, but when your name kept popping up, I felt like you saved the film industry. That's how I feel wholeheartedly.
well, you are way too kind. I think maybe HBO Max or Netflix saved the film industry during the pandemic.
Well,
But
yeah, but I'm
I'm
talking for
glad
newer
that
films. I'm talking when it comes
yeah.
to new releases. You were like, you saved it with all your involvement and everything. And I think people are gonna. I feel like this is like one of the best works you've done though with Murder Anyone.
Thank you so much. This is definitely my most personal project, which is weird to say because it's a very strange and out there and outlandish film. that's just wild, and but it's also heartfelt, and it's also special, and I think people will laugh, and they might get a little misty eyed, and I think that's something that they won't expect.
That's totally what happened to me. I was both that. It was either cracking up, or I did get emotional in a few scenes, but other than that, this, like I said, this has to be one of the best films you've ever done. And I've talked to you about other films you've done in the past, but this one takes the cake. This is like the icing right here with this one.
Oh, thank you so much. And it's so different than any of my other movies too. So I'm very glad that people enjoy it so much.
So what's next for you after Murder Anyone comes out?
Well, I can't, I don't know if you could tell, I've kind of lost my voice because I'm a little tired. I just got off of a 2-month shoot that I was directing this movie all overnights, and we just wrapped 2 days ago.
Oh,
So I just finally finished shooting that one, and it's like a really dark, violent noir film that has a unbelievably great performance from our lead actor Jean-Claude Van Damme. So I'm really excited for everybody to see this.
Well. Isn't
If you
that
want
the
to,
big news?
if you want to see Van Damme kicking people's asses and really playing like a dark alcoholic, ex-cop, this is definitely
I
what you
love
want
it.
to see.
That you already hit the spot with that. That just totally reminded me of Jackie Chan's New Police Story, because he played an alcoholic cop, and oh my God. It's all right. Yep.
So
That's it.
this is a very, very dark, very violent movie, and I'm excited for people to see it.
Oh man, I hope people are excited to see Murder Anyone. Just not only to see something you did different, but to know how much this movie means to you. Considering, I mean, I'd say it's a perfect tribute to your dad, considering everything he's done.
I appreciate that. I made this movie for an audience of one. Like, I just wanted to make something that would, do him proud and do his words justice. And I'm very excited for people to see it, because I really want to spread this. And it's definitely a very personal project. I feel like it's one of my best, if not my best, and it's something that I'll love and treasure for the rest of my career.
And I have a feeling that if people see this movie, they're gonna want to go back to the stuff your dad worked on. Of course, when the mid-credits scene when some of the stuff is mentioned, they're probably gonna want to look him up and see what did he work on in the past that brought all this together. And they're probably gonna want to see this and see what an amazing writer he was.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny too, because knowing all that stuff, that he did work on, a lot of the comedy in this makes sense, based on that. It's very much that style. So, I mean, he did like Pinky and the Brain, Animaniacs, Tiny Toons, The Smurfs, Scooby Doo, Darkwing Duck, Word Girl. I mean, he did so many different, it's a lot.
Yeah, and I feel like this is like the perfect homage to him, the perfect tribute. And I hope everyone will get to see it when it comes out on February 7th. And James, man, I can't thank you enough, man. It's always great to talk to you whenever we get this opportunity.
Well,
And
thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me, and thank you for your love of the movie. It means a lot to me, man.
yeah, no problem. And everyone, I'm just gonna let you know, we're gonna be having another interview soon with this movie. I'm not gonna tell you who yet. It's a big surprise, but I think you're really all gonna be really shocked. But you guys, you gotta check out this movie. If you know Gordon Bressack and his work, you're gonna want to see this for sure. And who better to have directed this movie than James here, and with a stellar cast. I mean, this is one of the best casts I've already seen, and we're not even the end of January yet. So, James, thank you again, man, for this movie. That's all I gotta say, man.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you, man.
All right, and we'll see you soon, guys. Take care.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.